Back in my day, we only had 4 creatures with Myriad, and we had to go get them from precons. But that is no longer the case. Today we are looking at Duke Ulder Ravenguard, a 6 mana, 4 generic, 1 red, 1 white, 5/5 human noble soldier that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, another creature you control gains haste in Myriad until the end of turn. For the few wondering what Myriad is a mechanic that whenever the Myriad creature attacks, for each opponent other than the defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of that creature that is tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat. So what's the game plan? Well, we are going to use our commander to make tokens that will generate us value in the form of treasures, card draw, or token generators to win the game by giving one of our creatures that gain power equal to the number of creatures we control Myriad to hit all of our opponents at once, hopefully taking them all out. We also have a possible infinite combo where we create infinite combat steps. With that being said, let's go over some of the small creatures that generate value before going over the big ones and how we are going to get to them. For value creatures, we have Wily Goblin, Spirited Companion, Rumor Gatherer, Priest of Ancient Lore, Plundering Barbarian, Inspiring Overseer, Exhibition Magician, Felden of the Third Path as a backup plan for our commander, Skirk Prospector, and lastly we have Circuit Mender for a little bit of life gain and card draw. Now those are just the small creatures that will generate value, but we also have bigger creatures that generate even more value because again, a lot of the stuff in this deck gets expensive, not to mention if our commander gets removed, which is very likely to happen, we need to still be able to cast him. So with that being said, we also run Beetleback Chief, Boss's Chauffeur, Jaxus the Troublemaker, Annex Astral Hunter, which by the way, I'm going to take this time to mention a brief interaction between legendary creatures and Myriad. So if you target a legendary creature with Myriad and then it attacks, it's still going to make the tokens, and then you're just going to choose the original copy and the other tokens will die. However, you still get the triggers for their ETBs and everything like that, and with Ganex Astral Hunter, that actually generates us quite a bit of treasure. So, now that that's out of the way, Geo Golem will guarantee that our commander will always be able to come out no matter how many times he's killed. Core Cartographer will get us lands. Siege Gang Commander will create us a bunch of tokens that we can also turn into damage if the game goes late enough. Thermopod, Rose Room Treasurer. Rapacious One is an absolute powerhouse in the deck because when you can Myriad it, it already has trample, so any damage that you get through is going to make a lot of tokens. Reverent Hoplite, Karmic Guide, Evangel of Helioid, Combustible Gear Hulk, Captain of the Watch. Now that we've covered all of that, let me show you why we generate so many tokens and how we're actually going to try to win the game. Battle Squadron is going to get huge with all the tokens we've made, and it has flying. Fanatic of Mogus is going to be dealing a lot of damage when you give it Myriad. Geist Honored Monk brings tokens as well as being a massive creature with all the tokens we've made. Lena Selfless Champion brings loads of tokens as well as some defense for our token army. Again, as it enters, you're going to have to sacrifice the copies because of the legend rule, but she makes a lot of tokens when she enters, so we're cool with that. Lightning Runner can generate extra combat steps for our Myriad creatures. Witty Roastmaster is going to be dealing lots of damage with all of our tokens flying around. Finally, our biggest and best card to give Myriad is Engraft's Marauders. Imagine doubling your damage 3 times.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
Also, this deck does have one possible infinite combat step combo with Lightning Runner and Aether Chaser or Eddy Trail Hawk. Both of the creatures give us 2 energy counters when they enter the battlefield, and with Myriad and all of our opponents, that's going to make 6 energy counters. Lightning Runner makes 2 when it attacks, and it takes 7 to activate the extra combat ability. Now, as long as all opponents stay alive long enough, we should be able to generate enough combat steps to win the game. Though, for this combat to work, you do need to have all 3 opponents alive in the beginning. We have our red card draw package with Cathartic Reunion, Faithless Looting, Seize the Spoils, Big Score, and Thrill of Possibility. We also have some white card draw in Secret Rendezvous, Cut a Deal, and Tenuous Truce. Also not done making tokens because we run Dragon Fodder, Hordling Outburst, Krinkos Command, and Prosperous Partnership for extra tokens and being able to turn our tokens into treasures by tapping them. Even if you don't swing with them, they can be useful in other ways. We run some removal to make sure our opponents don't get out of hand. With Chain Reaction, with all the tokens we're making, it's going to be able to pretty much clear anything away. And in an ideal scenario, we should be able to give our tokens indestructible before we Chain Reaction so we can save them. Abrade for either artifacts or for the removal of smaller creatures. Disenchant for artifacts and enchantments, and Wear and Tear again for artifacts and enchantments. Let's run down our artifacts real quick before I cover the spice. Wayfarer's Bauble, Boros Signet, Prismatic Lens, Mind Stone, Sisay's Ring, and Hedron Archive. Okay, with all that out of the way, here's the secret sauce for the deck. With all of our tokens, we are going to take those tokens and turn them into real creatures. We are utilizing Reality Scramble to turn our tokens into actual creatures. Not only that, it has Retrace, so it's always live, unless someone removes our graveyard. But that's not all. We also use Shifting Shadow, and though you may have to remove it if you don't want whatever it turns over to be destroyed at the start of the next turn, it's still a great card. And to add to consistency somewhat, we run Fervent Mastery. And quickly to go over the bits still remaining, Warstorm Surge is great for Myriad damage. Angelic Renewal will help get stuff back that we either sacrifice to Shifting Shadows, kills it, or we just sacrifice it for something else. Legion's Initiative to help keep our board safe in case someone plays a board wipe. Marshal's Anthem to cheat stuff back into play. And Outpost Siege to either deal damage or to help us draw cards. As for the lands, it's pretty simple. Alpine Meadow, Boros Garrison, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, 18 Mountains, and 14 Plains. If you like the deck and want to upgrade it, Strionic Resonator to get more Myriad triggers, Panharmonicon for additional ETBs, Sneak Attack or Perforos the Bronze-Blooded to drop big stuff in quicker than give it Myriad. Soul Ring and an Arcane Signet will go a long way. Obviously, you have things like Dockside Extortionist or Ancient Copper Dragon to get massive amount of treasures if you have the money for them. Professional Facebreaker would be another good addition to the deck because you get multiple treasures. Also, any extra combat step generators such as Port Razor, Combat Celebrant, Fury of the Horde, or Waves of Aggression. Well, that's the deck and upgrade. If you like the deck, as of recording, the deck sits at a whopping $20.32 on TCG Player. This is not including card conditions or cards you may already have, so this can be even cheaper. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way to supporting the channel, and with that, I'll see you in the next one.